Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Marie. Today I'll be doing yet another book haul. I honestly wanted to hold off on doing another book haul until like a lot later, but things happened. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Before I knew it though, I had like so many stacks of new books just sitting there, and I was like, I think it's time for me to film another book haul because this is starting to get a little out of hand and I need to put these books to their respective places on my shelves, and I can't do that when all these stacks are just chilling there on my table. So here I am with a new book haul, and let's get started. So as always, I'm not planning to spend too much time on the synopsis of these books just because a lot of them came unsolicited or from publishers in general, and I don't really remember what the books are about. And I actually didn't really purchase a ton myself this time around. But anyways, the first book that I got is An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X. Harpan. This came in my favorite loot box, and this book is just so pretty. All I know is that this has something to do with like a Chinese mythology of a guy who can like something about the arrow and how he has like a perfect aim or something like that, and it follows a girl as well. And I just really enjoyed her book in the past, so I have very high hopes. Plus this edition is stunning. Then in that same box I also got A Blood Scion by Deborah Falaye. Really hoping I pronounced his name correctly, but this book is so pretty. Like, look how beautiful this cover is, and the inside too is just stunning. Like, everything about this edition is just beautiful. I have no idea in terms of what this book is about. It says over here that this is what they deserve. They wanted me to be a monster. I will be the worst monster they ever created. So we'll see, but this cover definitely is intriguing and it's beautiful, so definitely cannot wait to read this. Next book is one that I literally just got in the mail, and that is The Not So Uniform Life of Holly May by Christina Matula. I believe this is a middle grade book, and that's really all I know. It says there's a new girl in town and she couldn't be more excited to moving across the world to Hong Kong for a mother's job, and she's excited for a fresh start, but not everything is going the way that she planned, so we'll see. But this is, I believe, a middle grade book, and I don't really read a ton of those, but it doesn't caught my eye because it is Asian month and I do want to pick up more Asian reads, so I thought this would be a good one to add to my collection. Next one I got is from the publisher, and that is Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hiller. This one doesn't come out until July 2022, and honestly I have no idea what this book is about, but this is some sort of mystery thriller suspense novel, and I do like to go into them completely blind, so that's all I can really say about this book. Next book that I got is actually a throwback because I did end up getting invited to the Netflix Along for the Ride premiere that happened like a week ago, and when we got seated we were all given a copy of this book, which is Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen. This is, I guess, like the new paperback with the little Netflix logo here. The movie was super freaking cute. Absolutely adored it. I loved the book when I read it, I don't know, back in high school, and I was very thrilled to get a copy of it because it was like I said, a throwback to my high school days. But yeah, really cute book, really cute movie, and really excited for this one. Next up I got The Charmed List by Julie Abe. This is another one that I got from the publisher. This one is out on July 22. I honestly have no idea what this book is about. Again, I think it's unsolicited. It says, after spending most of high school as a quiet girl, Ellie Kobata is ready to tackle her anti-wallflower list, and I guess it's just a bunch of things that she wants to do to get out of her comfort zone, so we'll see. But this looks like a cute romance novel, and I'm kind of excited for this one. Then I actually pre-ordered this one, and that is Flame Crystal Thorn by K.L. Moody. This is book one in the Fae and Crystal Thorns series, and honestly I have no idea what this book is about, but the cover is so pretty, and I just remember the pre-order campaign being like kind of cool looking, so I decided to grab a copy and just see for myself. All I know is something to do with Fae, and it's a romance, and I am trying to dive more into fantasy romances these days, so we'll see how this one goes. The next few are ones that I did purchase. The first one is Crossbones by Kimberly Vale. Honestly, I really have no idea what this is about, but it says over here, 2 captains, 1 stowaway, a heart-stopping competition for the island throne, dark tides are rising, only one will wear the bone crown. This is giving me One Dark Throne vibes, so we'll see how that goes. I have yet to read that series, but like the premise of it and how they're vying for the throne, it's already giving me those type of vibes, plus the cover also gives me that vibe too, so we'll see. I really need to stop buying books that I am not 100% sure what they're about. A lot of times they're cover buys purely, and other times I see them because I see a lot of hype about it and I actually have not gone in to look at what they're about. But anyways, the next book that I got is Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. This cover is really pretty. That is main reason why I bought this book, and it's a fantasy book. It's a YA fantasy, something to do with the first king making a bargain and how there are no droughts, disease or famine, and peace is everlasting because of this bargain. But because of this bargain, the woods around them grew dark, cursed, and forbidden. So follows a girl called Ceres, and she apparently carries a bit of the curse, the magic in her blood, and a reminder of the day she lost everything. I don't know, but this actually sounds really intriguing, so we'll see how this goes. Next book I purchased is Everything Within and In Between by Nikki Barthelmess. Really hoping I pronounced that last name correctly. This one is a hopeful coming of age story about new friendships, first love, and figuring out how to bridge two worlds. I just felt like this sounded like something I can really relate with, so this is why I decided to pick up this book. Next book is A Taste for Love by Jennifer Yen. This book has been on my radar for a while just because this is a YA contemporary romance, and obviously for Asian month I was like, this sounds like a book that I really want to read, so that's why, you know, I grabbed it. But I'm excited for this. I've heard really cute things about this book, so I cannot wait. All right, then this next two books I got are because I have read the first book and I actually really enjoyed it, and since I found these two books on sale, I figured why not. And that is Namesake by Adrian Young, as well as The Last Legacy by Adrian Young. This is book 2, I believe, and this is book 3, and this is basically the last 2 books of the series, so I thought I'd just pick them both up and just binge out the series sometime soon. But I really enjoyed the first book. It honestly was really surprising. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. So anyways, really happy to dive into these two sometime soon. Then the last book that I purchased from this pile is Not Here to Be Liked by Michelle Quach. I'm really hoping I pronounced that last name correctly. This book sounds really freaking cute. This book just sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like a really fun read. It follows a girl called Eliza who doesn't need you to like her, and she is just one of those like top students, perfect candidate for editor-in-chief of her high school paper, until one day this ex-jock decides to run against her on a whim, and suddenly her vast qualifications means nothing because of this inexperienced guy, just because who happens to be tall, handsome, and male, just seems more like a leader rather than her. And so now she is doing this feminist movement. Honestly, this just sounds really intriguing and I cannot wait to read this. All right, then this next book that I got is actually from a trade, and that is Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. I believe this is the sequel to It Happened One Summer. I don't know if it's a direct sequel or if it follows like different characters, because I haven't actually read that one either, but you know, I'm going to try to get through them soon. But this is a romance novel, and that's really all I know. It says over here that it follows a king crab fisherman who is a sexy, carefree flirt, as well as Hannah, who just wants to be friends, which is weird because I guess he's such a catch and he just assumes that every girl falls in love with him and just, you know, falls over themselves to be with him, and she is not like that. So we'll see. It sounds like one of those typical like, oh, she's not that kind of girl, or like she's different. But I'm kind of vibing it, so we'll see how this one goes. Then this next book is one that I got from my Goldsboro subscription, and that is The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. I really don't have any idea what this book's about, but this has a really cool sprayed edges here, and I just know that this is a adult fantasy, and that's kind of all I know. Okay, then this next book that I got is also from a trade, and that is Spinner Dreams by Kay Reynolds. I have no idea what this book is about, but this is a YA fantasy, and this book came out in 2019. It just says Enchantment of Neil Gaiman meets the haunting wildness of Kelly Barnhill in this uniquely imaginative middle grade fantasy. So we'll see how this goes. Honestly, this cover was what piqued my interest when I wanted to try this book, so we'll see how this goes. The next book I got is from the publisher. It came unsolicited, and that is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This book comes out on August 2022, and it's supposed to be a gothic infused romantic young adult fantasy, and the cover is just really freaking pretty. So I've heard quite a bit of things right now about the book in general on social media, or at least I've seen the book show up a lot of times, so now I'm like more intrigued to pick up this book ASAP. This next book I got is from my fairy loot, and that is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. Okay, first of all, this cover is so freaking pretty. It's really giving me Six Crimson Cranes vibe just because of this as well, and the way how the color scheme of the cover, it's just giving me the vibe. I feel like it's the same artist or something like that, but I am here for it. They're freaking gorgeous. All I know is that this is about Korean mythology and how for generations deadly storms have ravaged Mina's homeland, and her people believe that the sea god, who was once their protector, now curses them with death and despair. So each year a maiden is thrown into the sea in hopes that one day they will appease the god. Due to circumstances, Mina ends up being chosen, or she decides to take the place of a maiden and is sacrificed into the sea, and there she finds out that the sea god is actually trapped in an enchanted sleep, and now she must like free him and everything. It sounds like an adventure. It sounds really fun. I'm here for it. Plus the cover, like I said, is just so beautiful. All right, this next book I got is purely because of book talk, and I keep hearing people talk about it a lot, and that is Neon Gods by Katie Robert. I really do not read these type of books very often, but this is a very smutty retelling of Hades and Persephone, I believe, and it's supposed to be very smutty. So I kind of bought this like on a pure whim because I just keep hearing people talking about it and people loving it to death, so I figured I'll give a shot and see what happens. But yeah, I really do like retellings, which is why I was like, first of all, most intrigued because it's retelling, and then the second part is also the smut, because I was like, kind of see, yeah, I kind of like that as well. So I don't know, we'll see how this goes. Then this next book I got is from a trade, and that is Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. This is a thriller suspense novel. I have no idea what this is about, but it says that they're dying for an escape, and I've enjoyed her books in the past. Well, they've been like a hit or miss in general, but I feel like I enjoyed the journey of her books in general, so I have high hopes for this one. Next book I got, I think I got it from the publisher, and it was definitely unsolicited, and that is Under the Golden Sun by Jenny Ashcroft. I really have no idea what this book is about, but based on the cover, it looks like a historical fiction of some sort. Follows a soul-searching young woman who takes a leap of faith and discovers a place to call home and someone to share her heart with. And it's set in 1941 in England. So I want to say there's going to be a World War II vibes in here as well, just because of the time that's set in. So I don't know, but we'll see how this one goes. Next book I got is from my Illumicrate box, and that is Gallon by V.E. Schwab. I really feel like no one had any idea what this book was about until they actually picked it up. It was just so hyped about. It's V.E. Schwab. Everyone loves V.E. Schwab, and everyone just grabbed it. And I think after it came out, people started reading it, and all the reviews I heard after have been really negative. Like, it's just super boring, it's slow, etc. But we'll see. Like, I really don't know. Like I mentioned a few times already, V.E. Schwab is one of those authors where it's really a hit or miss for me, and I don't know, I'm a little worried now because of all the reviews I've seen after it came out. But I can't deny that this cover, this edition I have, is stunning. So, you know, at least there's that. The next book I got is unsolicited by the publisher, and that is It's All in How You Fall by Sarah Henning. This book, I think it comes out this month in May 2022, and it says it's a contemporary young adult romance about moving on, finding your place, and recovering after life falls. And it follows a gymnast where I guess like one day something happens, epic face plans, changes everything, and her back pain goes from chronic to career ending. And now I guess she's just recovering after that. And then she meets a guy called Alex who is incredibly cute and incredibly off limits. So we'll see how this goes, but this sounds really freaking cute, and I really want to read this soon actually. Next book is also from the publisher, which also came unsolicited, and that is Heartbreak Symphony by Lacan Z. Kemp. This book came out in April 2022, so I should probably read this soon. It says that it's clap when you land meets on the come up in this heart-gripping story about navigating first love and overcoming grief through the power of music. I haven't actually heard much about this book at all, so I'm not really sure what to expect. The next 3 books I have are from my Book of the Month subscription. The first one is The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I have no idea what this was about. I don't want to know what this was about. It's by Simone St. James. She's definitely a favorite mystery, thriller, suspense novel for me, and this is all I know. So I'm going to it blind, but I'm sure I will end up loving this book. Next book is The Love of My Life by Rosie Walsh. This is a romance historical book, I want to say. I don't know why I feel like it's historical, but it follows a woman where she has been hiding her life from her husband and their daughter this entire time, and she might have gone away with it if it wasn't for her husband's job. So then he starts to realize that the woman that he loved doesn't really exist as he unravels the truth. So now this book, I believe, follows about her side of the story and how she's trying to come clean with her past life and the other love of her life. The other book I got is The Cartographers by Pung Shepherd. This book is supposed to be a fantasy thriller. It says over here it's about a young woman who discovers that a strange map in her deceased father's belongings hold an incredible deadly secret, one that will lead her on an extraordinary adventure into the truth about her family's dark past and to the truth about her family's dark history. So I honestly have never heard of this book until I saw it on Book of the Month, and then it caught my eye, and I think since then I've heard a lot about this book, so I'm now very intrigued. Next book I got is one that I pre-ordered purely because how cool the swag looked, and that is The Lost Dreamer by Liz Huerta. To be honest, when I pre-order books, it's either one, I really thought that book would be super interesting, like definitely want to read it, or two, which is most likely, is because of the swag. And the swag is usually if they're like art prints or posters or character cards. Those are the ones I usually gear towards because I really do like collecting those. Other than that though, I'm kind of like, I can just order it when it comes out. Like, I don't need it right away. So anyways, that is why I pre-ordered this one. The next 2 books I got are from the publishers, which came unsolicited, and that is The Silent Unseen by Amanda Macrina, as well as Traitor by Amanda Macrina. I believe this is part of a series. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I feel like they're doing a promo where maybe this is the second book that just came out and this is the paperback of the first book. I'm not really sure actually, but this is set in Poland 1944 around the World War II. It's supposed to be a World War II YA thriller, and this one seems to follow also Poland 1944, so maybe it is like a direct sequel, or maybe it follows different characters. It seems to follow different characters. Honestly, I don't know, but this came together and we'll see how this goes. But if this is a YA thriller, this has definitely caught my attention more. Next book I got is from a book trade, and that is The City of Dusk by Tara Sim. I just want to say that this cover is really freaking cool and it's really stunning, and I like the fact that it's already a paperback and not a hardcover, because I do really like floppy paperbacks more than hardcovers sometimes. But it says over here that it's every realm there's a god, every god there's an heir, and every heir there's a price, and it's a world of bone and shadow magic, of vengeful gods and defiant chosen ones, and it's supposed to be the first book in the trilogy. Then the next book I got is a behemoth of a book, and that is from my Ghostboro subscription, and that is The Embroidered Book by Kate Hartfield. If there was a book that I thought about skipping, it was actually going to be this one, just because it didn't really seem completely up my alley, but I also wanted to go out of my comfort zone, so I figured why not. I didn't realize that this book is giant, like it's literally freaking huge, but at least it's also stunning. I love the edges here, but all I know is that 1768, 2 queens of a powerful secret would enchant the age, and it says 2 sisters are sent to marry strangers far from home. Soon they will become the most influential women of the age. Their journey to power did not begin with marriage, it began with a book. So I mean, it's definitely intriguing, but it wasn't like 100% on my alley. But I don't know, I'm excited either way. I just don't know when I'll actually get around to reading this giant of a book. Then this next book I got is from a publisher, and that is A Taste of Golden Iron by Alexander Rowland. And this book comes out on June 2020. This was actually in my most anticipated read, so I'm really happy the publisher sent me a copy of this. But this is supposed to be like a fantasy romance featuring a bodyguard set in the Ottoman Empire. So we'll see how this goes, but the cover is really freaking cool as well. The next book that I got is from the publisher, and that is All Signs Point to Yes. This comes out on end of May 2022, and it just says a love story for every star sign. So is this a anthology? I think it's okay. It says it's an anthology. It's 13 cosmic tales of teen love for each horoscope. So I'm excited for it. I actually am a huge astrology person recently, so but they're like more for fun because I always see them on TikTok. But yeah, I'm actually really intrigued by this book. Next book I got is from the publisher, and that is The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean. This one is out on August 2022. So from the back it says that there are people who I guess are able to eat things to remember things. So they can eat a map to remember destinations, and children who, when they misbehave, are forced to eat dry, musty pages. And this book follows a woman called Devon Fairweather, who is part of an old and reclusive clan of book eaters. And what that means is that they are raised on a carefully curated diet of fairy tales and cautionary stories. I don't know, but this sounds really interesting actually. Definitely a book about books, and I'm kind of here for it. Next book I got is from my Owl Crate edition, and that is A Forgery of Roses by Jessica S. Olsen. This book just looks really freaking beautiful, and it seems to follow a girl called Myra, who's an artist whose portraits alter people's real-life bodies, and it's a talent she must hide from those who would kidnap, blackmail, and worse in order to control it. One day, the governor's wife discovers the truth and threatens to expose her if she does not complete a special portrait that will resurrect the governor's dead son. And the thing is, once she arrives there to complete this portrait, it becomes clear that the boy's death was no accident, and that someone dangerous is lurking within these walls, and someone is harboring a disturbing obsession with portrait magic. So she can't do the portrait until she knows what really happened. I'm really intrigued by this book. I feel like I haven't heard about this book at all really, but this sounds really fascinating. Next book I got is from a publisher as well, which also came unsolicited, and that is She Gets the Girl by Rachel Lippincott and Allison Derrick. This book came out in April 2022, and it says that 5 steps for girls 1 semester to fall in love, and it follows 2 girls. One is Molly, who has everything in her life totally in control, and the other is Alex, who is a flirt and she knows how to get the girl, but not so much on keeping the girl. Definitely a romance book. It sounds really freaking cute. Cannot wait to read this. Next book I got is also from the publisher, which came unsolicited, and that is Aspects by John M. Ford. I have no idea what this book is about. It's supposed to be the final work of John F. Ford, who is one of the greatest SF and fantasy authors of this time. So we'll see. I feel like that just changed a lot of expectations on my end. I want to say that something to do with dragons for some reason. I don't know why I feel like I'm getting dragons in here, but yeah, I guess we'll see how this goes. Next book I got is from a book trade, and that is Luminous by Martha Rutherford. This is a book that has been on my TBR for a while now. I don't know when, but at this point I have no idea what this book is about. It says, to save her sister and the only boy she had ever loved, she'll have to use the magic she always feared. So definitely some fantasy magical elements in here, and definitely some sort of like adventure quest as well. I also got this book from the publisher, and that is A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows. This book is out in July 2022. It says, stolen me, as well to say a caged bird can be stolen by the sky. Follows someone called Velacin, who never planned to marry at all, let alone a girl from a neighboring Titenta. I have no idea how to pronounce that. But then ugly confrontation reveals that he's actually attracted to men, and now he's feared he's ruined the diplomatic union before it can even begin. And so because of this situation, the envoy from Tentia has a different solution for Vel to marry his former intended brother instead. so this sounds intriguing. I'm definitely curious about this book. Next book I got is from a book trade, and that is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. This is purely because I am really curious about this book. I really don't know what this was about, but it seems to be kind of like a historical fiction, or like if flashbacks between the then and the now in Pakistan, where it follows Mishbah, who is a dreamer and storyteller, and how their life is shaken by tragedy when they come to the US. And now it's set in Juniper, California, where these two people are best friends. They are family, and I guess things kind of happen about their family and old regrets and forgiveness. I think this might be like her first contemporary-ish book that's not fantasy, so I'm kind of intrigued because of that. Next book I got is from the publisher, and that is In the Shadow of Lightning by Brian McKellen. This is out in June 2022. It says magic is a finite resource and it's running out. It follows Demir Grappa, who's in exile, and his own mother was brutally murdered, and now he must return to take his seat as the head of the family. But the thing is, his mother was killed for a secret, and that magic is running out and no one knows how to stop it. So a war is coming, and Demir is the only thing that stands in the way of the end of life as the world knows it. This sounds really fascinating. This is also kind of a chunker, so we'll see how this goes, but I'm definitely excited about this one. Next book, I'm not entirely sure where I got. I think it just came from a publisher. I'm not really sure actually. But that is The Wide Starlight by Nicole Lesperance. It says, never whistle at the northern lights. The story goes, or they'll sweep from the sky and carry you away. I have never heard this book before, but the cover is really freaking pretty, so I'm definitely a little intrigued here. Next book I got is from my Owl Crate box, and that is Hotel Magnificu by Emily J. Taylor. This cover is so freaking pretty. I'm really excited for it. All I know is that this hotel has the ability to like travel around the world. Like every day it appears at a different location, and it follows someone called Janie, who has always dreamed of elsewhere, and she's never been able to afford the hotel, but she soon realizes that beneath its marvelous glamour, the hotel is hiding some dangerous secrets, and now she has the doorman as her only ally, and she goes on a mission to unravel a mystery of the magic that is at the heart of the hotel. I'm very intrigued by this book. This sounds so freaking cool. And the cover is just like I said, so freaking gorgeous. Next book I got is one that I am really freaking excited for, and I got this actually from a book trade, and I'm very thankful for that because this book is quite a big book, and that is Go Tell the Beast That I Am Gone. This book is the most recent book of the Outlander, and look how giant this book is. It is, let's see how many pages, almost 900 pages here. Yeah, it is really freaking huge. I am so excited though because it's one of my favorite series of all time, and I feel like this series is just never ending. I do need some sort of like refresher, I think, on the previous books, which I did reread like a few years ago, but it's been a while now and I don't remember how the last book ended. But this series has just continued on, and cannot wait to see where it will finally end. Then I got this book from a book trade, and that is I Kiss Cheryl Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. This book just came out, I believe, in May 2022. It says that this is supposed to be a YA debut book. Is this a YA debut? I feel like her other books are also YA. Are they not YA? Or maybe they were more like adult romances? I don't know. I feel like I got the impression that they were like more YA or like new adult books, but I guess this is a YA debut from Casey McQuiston. I have no idea what this book is about, but obviously I'm very intrigued, and it's going to be a romantic comedy about chasing down what you want only to find what you actually need. Next book I got is from a publisher, which definitely came unsolicited. I try not to request books that are series unless I've actually read the previous books, and I haven't read any of the books from the series yet, and that is The Discord of Gods by Jen Lyons. This might or might not be the last book to the trilogy. Okay, it says it's the epic conclusion, so I think this is book 3 or book 4. I'm not sure. I do have some of the other books over there, I believe, but I haven't picked up any of the books from the series yet, but I do really want to read this. Oh, maybe this is book 5 actually, so I think these are the books, and there's 4 here. So this is probably book 5. I do have the first 2 books, I believe, and then I don't have the 3rd and 4th. And now I have 5 somehow. So we'll see how this goes. But I have really high hopes for this one either way. I believe that this book has dragons in it, like the series have dragons, and I love mythical creatures, so I'm very excited for this one. All right, then this next book I got is from a book trade, and that is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Surley. This is a romance book. And that's all I really know. I honestly got this because it sounded interesting, and I've seen this book pop up a lot on social media, and it just kind of caught my attention. Next book is also from a book trade, and that is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I believe that this is a thriller suspense novel as well. About 6 teenage girls who goes missing in a small Louisiana town. I don't really want to know too much more because I do like to go into them pretty blind, but I'm excited for this one. I've heard actually pretty good things about this book in general. Then I got this from the publisher, and that is Faking Reality by Sarah Fujimura. This is supposed to be life is a reality show. Falling in love with your best friend is a game changer. So it definitely seems like a friends to lovers trope here, and I'm really here for that. I also got this from the publisher, and that is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This book is out on, it came out last month in April 2022. It says this isn't a fairy tale where the princess marries a prince, it's one where she kills him. This already sounds super fascinating. It sounds right up my alley. Then I also got The First Binding by R.R. Verdi. This book is from the publisher, and this one's out on August 2022. This says over here it's a tale of a storyteller who meets a singer on the run and looking for obscurity in a tavern bar. Other than that, I don't really know what to expect, but the cover is actually really pretty, so I am very excited to read this. And finally, we are to the last book here, and that is Daughter of Red Winter by Ed McDonald. This book I also got from the publisher, and this one is out in June 2022. This book follows a girl called Rain who can see and speak to the dead. It's a gift that comes with a death sentence. And all her life she's had to hide, lied, and run to save her skin, and she's made some spectacularly bad choices along the way. One day, in a rare act of kindness, she rescues an injured woman, and it becomes the most dangerous decision she has ever made. Because this woman is fleeing from Red Winter and will stop at nothing to reclaim what she's stolen. So there's a battle, betrayal, and horrific revelation, and it sounds really freaking cool. Definitely a lot of adventure, high stakes, action-packed book, and I am really excited for this one. So anyways, these are all the books that I got the past few months. It's been a lot, and now I need to go figure out where to put all these books because I've been reading a lot, but I did not expect the influx of these amount of books to come into my life in the past, what, 2-3 months maybe? I'm not even sure honestly, but it's just a lot. Anyways, like I say, for this video, let me know down below if you have read any of these books before. What do you guys think about them? Which book should I pick up next on my list? But as always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It really does help out my channel. And if you could see more content of me, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as hit the notification bell. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.